together. Can't we just sing Kumbaya?
So, does that mean like Browder is the more like, oh god, is Browder a lib? Does he need to be purged?
Browder was ejected from the party, even though he tried to help the Communist Party several times afterwards, and had to
Lib.
register as a.
The party can never keep its own game straight. There's
Browder-
this joke, like if you want the left to fail, you just wait. Have them do it.
Sounds
What's the
You can
old
always-
adage? The right looks for converts, the left looks for traitors.
Yeah.
believe that.
There's actually a real interesting audiobook on basically the formation of the Soviet Union and the first Soviet Republic. It's called... I wanna... by the way, hello everyone who's watching the live stream. We are live. You can probably hear our voices already, but we're just taking a few minutes to set up. And so I will see you in 4 minutes, but you can listen to this ravishing conversation I'm having with some patrons in the meanwhile. Can you guys introduce yourselves? Everyone who's hanging out.
Hello, I'm Sheridan's Reaver 13.
Welcome, Sheridan. Sheridan has been with us for quite some time. Then Comrade Vampire.
Yep. Howdy, everyone. I'm Comrade Vampire. Only the first part of it is true. My name, I mean.
I don't know. He really does like red more than the average socialist.
That's true.
I'm also markedly pale, if that matters at all.
Might be like sunlight up in the Great Lakes area.
Oh. Ironically, has anyone heard of the website called cracked.com?
I've not heard of it. Welcome,
Someone
Nordic Fox. I'm just gonna, if you hear me say something random, it's because I'm responding to stuff being said on chat, but it will be on some kind of delay. Which is why I propose you do not watch the stream with audio on, because you'll be hearing me twice. Me a minute into the future, and me right now. It's gonna be very weird because of the delay we have on the stream.
I can only handle one Vincent at a time.
Yeah.
But the article writer made a very interesting argument that the fear of vampires represented America's fear of socialists.
Okay. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to explain that a bit more, because
Is that why my dad rejects me?
Won't get into that.
Joking.
But if you imagine in the 1930s, Bela Lugosi coming from Eastern Europe, coming to seduce the wild people,
yeah, I get it.
Oh.
and suck you dry and turn you into one of them.
That's actually clever. Anyway, I'm gonna turn the stream on. We're on in 2 minutes.
The thing I know most about.
Good afternoon and good morning and good evening to all our cats wherever you are. This is the Divided States livestream 3 or 4. I'm not sure. I keep forgetting and mixing up the numbers. This is also a quiet period at Kazakh Cinema, as I've been not working on content but spending all my time making new posters for you guys for the July 4th sale. So we're planning on having a CSA poster and an AOS poster done. The AOS poster was voted on, so it will be the Kingfish poster that won. Then the CSA poster should be done in 1 or 2 days, and we're working on the finishing touches. So I'm gonna switch to screen share and I'll show you guys what's happening. Let me know if the audio is good. We keep getting audio mixing problems. But welcome to our 43 concurrent watchers and also our patrons who are in the Discord chat with me. Just gonna say welcome all, and going to throw out a quick reminder to all the patrons that we're live right now, and that all our patrons are free to join us. Looks like we've had a couple new patrons the past few days, so that's really good. The increase in monthly support we're getting from patrons is really helping us fund the Divided States, because it's looking like every episode will be very expensive, especially with all the voice actors. Posts. I'm just gonna play the stream back for a minute so you'll hear it twice. The episode will be very expensive, especially with all the voice. Alright, looks like we're good to go, guys. So yeah, actually, I think that's pretty interesting, the idea of using the symbology of a vampire for the socialist menace.
The only thing I know about vampires and Bela Lugosi is mostly from like the American goth subculture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Your nation will live forever.
yeah, yeah, and in music, because I kind of grew up around like the alternative emo scene, goth kids a lot.
You know, my girlfriend was a goth for a while. She told me. Never understood that subculture. I was always kind of a plain guy.
Yes. They had very odd taste in eyeliner and boots.
Everyman Vincent.
Yeah, I've always been. You know, I've actually stopped going to a hairdresser. My girlfriend cuts my hair now. It's one of the weird things that came out of the like the lockdown we had, because all the hairdressers were closed. So I asked my girlfriend, like, can you cut my hair? And she tried, and like the result was really good. So I just basically stopped going to the hairdresser.
Yeah, my my current boyfriend, he is actually going to school to be a cosmetologist and all that. So whenever I'm around him, he actually like takes care of my hair. So it's something.
Yeah, like if you have a simple buzz cut, it's not that much. It's not that difficult. Just ask someone to take like I use a little trimmer for my beard, and then I just put the same thing to my skull, and you basically get a haircut.
I'm going for the what Brad Pitt had in Fury.
I'm gonna have to Google that. What does Brad Pitt have in Fury? Is it like the Spanish Inquisitor? No.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I'm mostly joking when I say I'm going for that.
Oh,
But
that's a unique look.
it is
If you can rock it, you can rock it. But
It's fairly
Whoa.
common. It's a fairly common look nowadays, though.
yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna
it's actually
post
more
it.
of what
I'm gonna post it in the crew lounge.
it's actually what I had in college, to be more honest.
Yeah.
Now my hair is like, it fades together pretty well. Like usually, it starts at like kind of real close to skin for my hair, and then as it goes higher up, it fades into like my actual, like the hair I have on top.
Yeah, what's interesting, those high and tight haircuts are definitely from the 1930s. If you look up, like Browder, for example, he had that haircut. That's kind of it's kind of the era where that was popular, and all. It just goes to show that all these things, they're cyclical, right? They go in and out of fashion.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Didn't I? Well, in at least one of his portraits.
You know, if you go look at, like I was in 18 in the 2010s, I want to say, yeah, about like the late 20, what do you call that? The nullies nowadays? They have a weird name for it. And like just our fashion was just so bad in the 2000s. It was just bad. We wore these, you know, the thing you would associate with Sean Paul nowadays, like the jeans, long jean shorts. Everyone had this long weird ass. It was just weird. I objectively think that fashion is better now.
That's what we say every time.
I'm not sure. Like if I look at the 1930s now, like everyone's super dapper, right? Everyone's wearing hats. So I wouldn't say that 1930s were ever out of fashion. Now they're just part of the modern fashion again.
Well, we've certainly got the plague to bring us into the 20s.
We've got the whole damn experience. How have you guys been actually during the lockdown? Not sure what the measures are at the Great Lakes right now.
Well, things are going pretty well for me. I don't live in the Great Lakes currently because I actually I live in Texas now. It's really weird because like where I am, you can't go into a store without wearing a mask, but you still have people who are like, I'm not wearing a goddamn mask. And it's just like, sir, please, this isn't about you.
Yeah, I get that. We don't have a law on mask wearing. I would say about 20% of people wear them nowadays.
Yeah, no, in the United States, this is something that's on the news. There's a lot of states that reopened early. Like their counts are just going up. It, I'm not gonna get too into that because I don't wanna sour the mood.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. We did a 3-month lockdown in Belgium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, by the end we were pretty sick and tired of it. But our numbers seem to be pretty good. I think so right now all European countries did quite different measures. So basically what's being done right now is they're looking at which country has sort of the best numbers for the lightest lockdown, and to see what the best idea was. And it looks like the Dutch, the Germans seem to have one of the best lockdown systems. They had a fairly light lockdown. It was quite similar to ours, but you could still. I think that the biggest difference was all the stores stayed open, and that's one thing that we've been debating here in Belgium. Like, what we did is we closed all stores except essentials. But this was very bad for like local shops who were considered non-essential, and it was also a lot of chaos because people weren't certain which shops were essential. And the Dutch simply said, every store stays open as long as you keep social distancing measures.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised that it was Germany of all places that handled it well? If I'm understanding things right.
Germany, because basically they have a massive amount of hospitals. What's interesting is because there was this big discussion in Germany going on last year that Germany had too many hospitals. Basically, like they said, like the amount of hospitals in Germany is ridiculous. It was. You should go look at the numbers. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but they have a multitude more hospital beds for every person in Germany than there are in any country in Europe, like way more than they need. But that ended up being a massive advantage during the crisis. They're still thinking of closing down a lot of these hospitals because it's just ridiculous. The number is somewhere. It's way more than you need, basically.
3,084 hospitals.
Yeah.
So you could socially distance in a German hospital.
Yeah, basically. But like healthcare obviously is great in Germany as it is in most places in Europe. And I think one of the advantages was basically the more you would be linked to Italy, the more problems you'd have. So Belgium through France, and the big amount of back and forth we do across the border there had a lot more infections coming in during the early part of the crisis. I think the biggest mistake we made was allowing people to go on. It's not Easter. It's like the week before Easter has a certain name. It's called Crocus in Dutch. To allow people to go on that holiday because that's basically where the massive infection started spreading. Because we just didn't know that COVID was that bad. It was like, it was a thing in Asia. We weren't really considering it a problem. The news didn't talk about it enough. But now, we got our wake-up call, you'd say.
Yeah, no. It's really interesting because, like, as part of my job, like, I sort of have to stay healthy, so that way I don't affect my team, so to speak,
I get that.
So, like, I have not just a responsibility for myself to stay healthy, but like people I work with and around me, my friends and all that. And so like seeing people like get all up in arms about like having to do something that might inconvenience them just a little.
Well, it's basically it's a matter of social responsibility as well. Like even like if you're younger, you get sick, you're probably not gonna die from the virus, but you also have a responsibility to not spread the virus. Like every person who spends like a few days with COVID is a massive factor for disease and a public health risk.
Amen.
So yeah, I would say follow all your local government instructions. Together we may defeat this virus. I actually thought about doing a COVID poster for a while.
Listen to Comrade Browder about the virus. The
It
virus is not your friend.
The virus is not your friend.
Virus is a class reductionist. Because it affects you no matter if you're rich or poor. It's
Just gonna shout out to a couple people on chat with us. What's up, Homero? Seeing Homero, he's a regular around our live streams. By the way, people, if you have questions, don't forget to ask them on chat. I've got an eye on you guys. You're on my second monitor while I'm painting on my first one. So feel free to ask me for questions. But yeah, the COVID thing, it's a massive inconvenience, and one of the reasons it's annoying is because we were planning. I was planning on coming to the US, maybe not this year, but definitely like early next year. Like we wanted to do something with patrons, and there's a secret project that the outside world does not know about, but you patrons do. It's if you go scroll to the bottom of all the project pages, you can see the plans over there. I'm gonna give you a minute to see, and you'll see why we wanted to go to Chicago. But it was gonna be super cool. But now, like, all of that is, you know, it's up in the air, which is really frustrating.
got the
Lose track of all
kibosh
the
put on
code
it.
names.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last part. Can you guys say it again?
I lose track of all the code names.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the virus sort of put the kibosh on travel, but it's whatever. I've had more time to paint my Warhammer miniatures, so...
Yeah, we've actually gotten into like doing more D&D. It was pretty fun. We did a lot of like one-shots online, and then some of those people carried over into our home games now that the thing was lifted and we can visit each other again. So yeah, I mean, you know, if nothing else, it was a quiet time for everyone to reflect. Maybe like do some pick up an old hobby. I was getting back into language learning. Blah, blah. My God, I was getting back into language learning. I always wanted to I want to improve my German and learn Swedish as well. It's a
World traveler right there.
Well, I mean, specific part of northeastern Europe traveler, but yeah, like an area that respectfully is about the size of New England, like 4 or 5 states. If you want to call that world traveling, okay, yeah.
Dude, I only live in one country. I haven't left this place, so
well, actually,
anywhere is like world traveling to me.
Yeah, but the thing is, because the United States is so big. You'd be surprised to know that like most of the people I've met in the US are more well traveled than most people I meet in Europe. Like just in terms of miles, like people moving state for their job is like super common. And then like it's not common in Europe to just move to another country. I mean, it happens a lot, of course, more and more, but it's definitely more common in the United States to like move 3,000 miles. But you're still in the United States. Yeah, the country is so big.
Yeah, in 1 year, I went from Michigan to Georgia to Oklahoma to West Texas to South Texas, Atlanta again, back to Michigan, and then back to Texas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A lot of that was me like either making my way too basic or like me going home on leave, but it was something. Yeah, I actually turned 21 in Atlanta because I flew out from where I am like the day before my birthday, and this was like my 21st. I'm 22 now, so this was like over a year ago. Yeah,
that's a massive amount of moving.
I landed in Atlanta around, I want to say 8 p.m. Eastern time, and then I was stuck there for 5 to 6 hours, waiting for my plane. I think I like fell asleep and took a nap at one point while waiting. So,
well, they do have.
By the time
They do have those nice waffle places in Atlanta. I spent some time on a layover there as well. quite like the airport.
Yeah, no, Jackson Airport was nice. I mean, I got to enjoy it like more the second time I was there, like for when I turned 21. My first time in Atlanta, I had to run through the airport. I sprinted from one end to the other in somewhere around like 20 minutes straight, just running because my plane was about to leave.
Yeah, I had that in New York, trying to get back in JFK, trying to get back to Europe, and our plane was like, I think normally we'd have like a 3-hour spread, and I was like, okay, cool. But our plane from Raleigh was like, it was like 2 hours and a half late. So basically, when we arrived there, they said on the intercom, like, everyone who's like Europe bound, you need to get to your gate now. So basically, me and 3 other guys did a mad dash, and I mean, I consider myself to be in pretty good shape, but Jesus Christ, when I got into that plane, I'd sprinted so hard that I was grabbing, you know, the little barf. Oh, I have to interrupt this story for just a minute. That we have the Temple Institute with us, and they just donated 5 non-American dollars. But thanks Temple Institute. I'm not actually sure what that is, Canadian dollars. Do we recognize the independence of Canada? I'm not sure. I don't think we have an official party line on that.
Not since 1814.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's cool to have you guys with us, Templin. You guys know Templin. We hung out at PDXCon in Berlin. We had this really nice German dinner. I forgot what it was. It's been a while now. That was before the lockdown. The before time. The before 4. But to get back to the story, yeah, basically, like I had that little, you know, that little barf bag out because I thought I was gonna puke. Like, you know, when you run so hard, you think you're gonna puke?
Yeah.
That was it, basically.
One of my fastest 2 miles that I've ever run, I wound up puking afterwards because I ran like a 14:30. This was like around my first year doing what I do, and so. Like afterwards, everyone's like just kind of milling about, walking, trying to keep their legs active so they're not like dying from it. Me, I'm off to the side, like on my hands and knees, losing my non-existent breakfast. and I was actually like sick that day. I found out later.
Yeah.
So that's probably like the main reason why I just thought it was something else.
Yeah, I totally get that. Is it just me, or like airlines is worse in the US? I've had more layovers in the US than I've ever had in Europe.
A lot of things are worse in the US, and I've sort of come to understand that as reality.
Disorganization is a point of pride for us. It means we are free.
I see the luxuries that come with organization, and I'm like, if only. Then I get called a communist for asking for nice things.
I think it has, for airlines, it has more to do with, like, the competition in Europe is tighter, because all these countries have their own national airlines, so you basically cannot have bad customer service as an airline, or it just will not exist.
I mean, in the United States, we have direct rule from Washington, so...
On certain things.
Yeah. Come on, Comrade President, please nationalize Amazon. The UPS will be saved. USPS.
For that. Oh.
I was actually considering you can become a vendor on Amazon, putting some of the webshop products on there.
Oh.
See if
I mean, that might be a way to reach out to people who don't know the Kaiser Cat shop exists.
Yeah, it also like what you can do with Amazon is you can get some warehousing on a couple things, and then you get all basically the benefits that Amazon can get you with, which is like much faster delivery. But this would only be for like very specific products, and that's just like the reality of being a small web shop. It's very hard for us to do things like, you know, delivery within the week, or like that's just too crazy for a small web shop.
Oh yeah.
Would you guys like my, you won't be seeing it on the stream right now, because we're a minute behind, but in a minute you'll see me working on my Don't Step on Snack CSA flag.
Yeah, I see it.
It's like, We gotta have at least one like snake flag for every faction. That's just like every faction is gonna pretend like, oh, this was always our symbol.
No step on me.
Don't step on it.
I have a friend who I went to her room yesterday, and I'm gonna skip right to the point, but I saw a black version of that, the cut up snake, the join or die one.
Yeah.
And then I saw on her this hydro flask she had her drinks in. It was a black cat on it. So, but it was for the Black Rifle Coffee. So, an organization started by soldiers, you know, to make coffee.
Oh, that's interesting.
So,
That's nice.
I went on a short little tangent because I get like that when I'm drunk, and I was like, "Did you know that the black cat in that specific pose is like actually blah 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 anarchist union blah 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 blah, that kind of stuff?" And I threw the word misappropriation in there too because I was feeling fancy.
How did she react?
You're a fucking idiot. And then we kept hanging out for a few more hours.
Alright,
True
so-
friends.
True friends.
Yeah,
The
no, I've known her since she got here, so like, pretty cool.
well, you know the like Kazakhstan cinema logo is based on a poster of the IWW. Poster
General
by-
Strike.
Yeah, the General Strike. Actually, I'll put it on screen for the people that are interested. IWW. The poster is by Ed Brooker. Ed Brooker cat poster. It always takes a while to. Ed Brooker cat poster. Huh. Interesting. If you Google IWW cat poster or hoodie is cat strike poster. Ah, here we go. This was one of the like, and it goes into the how and why the first posters were made as well. Actually, I'm gonna switch to full screen and tell you a story. Join me on this journey, my friends, as we go back to the early 2002s. Basically, in the early 2002s, those older version of Kaiserreich, they had 3 posters on the main menu, and these posters were basically photoshopped versions of the posters you see behind me, and that was the inspiration for. And one of them was the Ed Brooker poster. So the Ed Brooker poster is the only one I didn't recreate, but then it ended up becoming the Kazakh Cinema logo, like something like that. What I didn't end up doing was the like, if you have the French poster, which you don't see in this frame, but it's in this room. The French poster has basically like a syndicalist version of Marianne walking through a crowd, but then at her feet there's like the cat from that Ed Brooker poster walking with her. And ever since, we've been doing basically these cat cameos. So there will be a cat in this CSA poster as well. So here it is. And then we have Comrade Kitten as well. So that's just, you know, a little bit of fun we're having with all the symbols. I love it when we have like recurring themes and jokes and gags that like only the in crowd is gonna know about.
Yeah.
So, in the world of a socialist America, would Catwoman be a patriotic themed hero?
That's actually a really cool idea.
I was
For our YouTube live watchers, one of the ideas we had is to do a Saturday morning style cartoon, which is basically right now it's called Max Steel, which is a working title, but it would be like a funny take on what the divided states is going to be. Like, the divided states is our serious animatic, and then the Max Steel would be basically what plays on like Saturday morning, and it would have a few of these heroes representing factions in the Second American Civil War. So yeah, maybe Catwoman.
kind of like a Buck Rogers kind of thing.
Yeah,
Or
like,
Flash Gordon.
Yeah, we have a couple really cool. I have this idea of like a really cheesy theme song that I would like Rachel to sing for us. So we're gonna look into that once we have, like, our current objective is doing the first 3 episodes of the Divided States and the trailer, which we will release simultaneously, and then we're gonna think about newer projects. Which is why it's unfortunate that July 4th was so close. So I basically had to stop all our production to do this poster, like get it done in time.
Yeah.
That's just a bandwidth issue. Like I hope in the future we'll be able to have more illustrators, so I can ask someone else to maybe do this while I keep working on the Divided States.
Oh, on the topic of the Kaiser Cat shop, I got a CSA Netgator a while ago, and I've been meaning to like use it for like a cosplay where I'm dressed like a preacher for the CSA and all that, where I've got like
a preacher.
all black.
That's interesting.
Because
Birthday days, bae.
you know how because in socialist Italy you have the option of integrating the church, you know.
Oh yeah, right.
So I figured, well, there's definitely going to be some Protestants in the CSA who are the same way.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So like I'd be wearing an all black outfit with plenty of denim to it, and then have the neck gaiter as the lone CSA piece.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kind of pulled up over my lower face.
The just to interrupt you, Octo in the chat asks if we will do a cover of "We'll Meet Again." We actually might. The original singer of the song died, I think, last week. It would be a cool homage, and it's one of those things you do also like associate with the era. We'll meet again. Don't know where.
Yes.
Don't know
I
when.
just imagined the Cindy preacher rattling up, "Come, comrades, we have tables in the money changers' temples to overturn.
Yes.
You cannot love God and money. And they, the Pharisees and the money changers, have come together to blaspheme this good nation."
Whenever someone does like preacher and war, I always think of like Warhammer 40,000. Like that's it's like by the light of the Emperor we will stand.
I collect 40k as I mentioned earlier. So, but my primary inspiration actually came from, funnily enough, the TV show Preacher, which absolutely none of it has anything to do with what I'm talking about. Any of that, completely
Something
different.
else.
I just really. The bottom line of it is Texan preacher comes into possession of some uber power basically and goes to kick God's ass.
What?
It was made by a very angry Irish atheist.
Okay.
It's a very good story too. I'm talking about like the TV show. Though I love the TV show, and the main character, preacher Jesse Custer, played by Dominic Cooper. That's the name. And his outfit is stunning.
That sounds like a really, really weird show. I now need to watch. I'm gonna make a mental note of that.
You can find it. You can like buy it on YouTube. I think that's how I've been watching it.
Interesting. I'm actually right now I'm watching a lot of animation to get inspired for the Divided States as well, like the classics. Also the shows. I'm watching all the shows again that like for me are the biggest inspiration for the Divided States. For example, Samurai Champloo is big. And Cowboy Bebop, basically the early Sunrise Studios animation.
Heck, the opening theme to Cowboy Bebop would actually be pretty perfect for anything in the 30s or 20s.
Yeah, did you guys catch that other video or live stream? I'm not sure if it was just on Discord, where I was doing the credit sequence for the Divided States, and it's basically the same sequence. Actually, I can pull that up.
Seen some live streams, but not all of them.
If I search my credits sequence, yeah, here we go. This is just footage from the painting, but you can get the idea. So it's on the live stream right now. But basically, I want to do like a homage to the ending of both Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, which and take a couple scenes from both of those animes, and then. Samurai Champloo specifically has the one of the main characters, Fu, standing in the sea, and I thought that was really, really interesting. Like there's this nice, you'll see it on screen right now. this really cool scene where she's standing in the sea and like looking at like this very red sunset, and I thought I could do that with Emily, but then she's standing on the west coast because that's their objective as well.
It's very good. You get that nice kind of mirroring effect.
Well, that's kind of what I'm going for, and then I'll probably mirror. We're not really gonna do an intro, but I would love to do something that mirrors the Cowboy Bebop intro in a way. But I just don't think like long intros are like a thing anymore. Like we're used to like the Netflix style of just having like 3 frames and then the show title.
I do appreciate the ability to skip some intros if you've seen them enough times.
Yeah.
Or if they're not artistic.
Well, yeah, but every time I rewatch Full Metal Alchemist, I'm going to be sitting through the first opening, like,
yeah,
nonstop, because again, is a masterpiece of a theme song.
Well, there's some intros you definitely never want to skip. I think the Stranger Things one is like a true really good intro that you just always want to fully see. Also fits.
It certainly helps. It's short to the point.
Yeah, that as well. The thing is, like, I love Samurai Champloo. I think the intro is absolutely terrible. It has this like really terrible hip hop song. And it's just so weird, and just these random like colors and stuff flipping around. But that was just the style of how they did intros back then. But I just do not love it.
Yeah.
Even though I love everything about the show except for that intro. That intro is really weird.
This cartoon I used to watch as a kid, Ed, Edd and Eddy, like the theme song and the opening for it. It's a kid's show. It's a cartoon.
Yeah,
it's really simple.
I know Ed, Edd and Eddy. It's,
yeah,
pretty well.
Sorry. It's just I kind of have this like presupposition, I guess, is how it is. No, that's not the right word. I have this like idea that like I need to explain what I want to talk about.
Yeah, I get that.
It's like my dad.
So Ed and Eddy was actually really popular here in Europe as well. I know it was on TV for a long time.
Yeah. The theme song for it, very simple and just works.
Cannot recall it off the top of my memory, but I assume
it's just whistling.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, Flibiteronian, to answer your question, we'll probably not do a Spanish radio anytime soon. I think Alex has a particular idea of what he wants to do, which radios he wants to do, and it's mostly focused on the US and British perspectives, with one idea for a German radio, I think. I'm not sure, I can't speak for Alex. But you might get more Spanish content when we get into like Interlude, and if Interlude does well. Interlude is our new audio drama series. You can Google, if you search our channel, you'll find like the test script reads we've done, and it's going to be mostly focused on these areas that we've not really touched before. Like for example, it starts in the legation cities, which I think is really cool. And we'll probably try and look for like just these things we've not touched in any other video, and I think that's going to be a really interesting way for us to experiment with content as well. It also fits in our overarching idea of reviving the BBC radio show, and we will revive it, god damn it! The BBC style radio show is a international treasure that should be brought to YouTube.
So has anyone here seen Peaky Blinders?
I've watched the first 2 seasons. That's right. We're sort of on and off on that show.
I know mostly shows up and that's it.
I think it's a very good period drama, which is not only shows Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy at their best and their most bromantic.
No fighting.
Oh, they totally no fucking fighting. It's a great place to learn to pretend to sound like a rummy. But yeah, I've learned to properly appreciate the power of the Trade Union Congress after watching a few seasons of that.
Yeah, it has a part with where Mosley does a speech, but I think that's later in season 2 or season 3 because I've not seen that part yet.
Season 5, actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Is it
that's a
the-
what. That's
Okay,
also
sometime
with
I'll
with
Is it
my
the
favorite
England
singing
march
gang,
song?
the Billy Boys.
Billy Boys.
Yes,
But I mean, yeah,
they're
like,
not. Billy Boys are hilarious when they're not killing and crucifying people. Hell, they have their own theme song, which you can listen to on YouTube because it got turned into a football song.
interesting.
Hello, hello, we are the Billy Boys. We're up to our knees in Fenian blood. Surrender or you'll die. We are the Bridgeton Billy Boys.
It's one of the.
They had a mark.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, they had their own marching band as well. They were just that organized.
It's gotta love an organized gang of dapper criminals. It's,
And very dapper they were.
Did
You
somebody
wonder-
say organize?
Yes. Could in an alternate world where the TUC took power, the Billy Boys be there some sort of local security for Glasgow? We'll find out one day.
It's not impossible. It's pretty cursed though.
Yes, it is pretty cursed, especially as they also provided security for local fascist-leaning politicians.
Oof.
And in the show proper, they provide it for Mosley. So yes, they would be very authoritarian and totalist.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
I'm gonna pull this little banner all the way here, so it says peace. That's, I think, what I love most about these Chinese style posters. Like they hold these banners up, then they say they have whole slogans on them. It's kind of weird to do it in Latin text, so I turned them into like big words like peace and progress. I thought that would be most fitting, but actually, like if you like have 8 Chinese characters, you can put so much more on there. So it's definitely more fit to these banners. But I'm making it work.
Yeah, with Latin stuff, you kind of have to make the more punchy slogans almost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, punchy makes sense here because I mean, look at those workers' arms.
yes.
Yeah, just their hands are like 1.6 times like so big, too big to be realistic. But considering like the style of the poster, like you sort of expect that to be. You know, it doesn't
Yeah.
bother you as much, like these obviously unrealistic hand sizes and forearm sizes. It feels natural just because of that style, and you associate that with that style. I think that's interesting how we sort of expect different things from a different drawing style.
Socialist realism, my butt.
we got Comrade Mario there without his mustache.
Oh my god, I can't unsee that now.
Or would it be Luigi because he's wearing mostly green?
I have also
Yes.
seen a video that explained in a very oddly convincing way that Mario was promoting socialism, as well as Donkey Kong.
DK, Donkey Kong.
Okay, I see that. Do you feel like the guy in the red beret looks like me still? It's the one that's most based on my own face, but I'm trying to not make it a self-insert.
Chad Vincent.
It's, but the thing is, the truth is, I'm actually posing for all of these characters, like women and men. So it all usually starts from me and looks super weird in the beginning because all women have these like weird ass wide shoulders and stuff. I finally got my girlfriend to start posing for Emily, which like cuts down on the insanity.
Yeah.
Hey, way to take some for the Kaiser Cat team, Vincent.
Well,
You're doing a service here.
We're actually expecting some. It's actually quite fun. We're expecting some cosplay weapons as well. About some replica weapons for the office. So those should be here maybe in a week or 2 weeks. And I told a friend of mine, hey man, I'm getting a Mauser and a Lee Enfield. Like, you want to come in and do like a crazy amount of World of Kaiserreich poses we can use? And he's like, oh yeah. And so he'll probably be like the Russian in the World of Kaiserreich Russia that I'll be working on. It's gonna be hilarious.
You're giving not only your mind and soul to divided states, but also your body in the form of references for your art.
It's like a lot of the car scenes are actually also our car, because we went to our car and we got a bunch of reference shots from there.
Yeah,
it's just, you think of like what's the best way for us to solve this problem and get reference, and then you sort of go through all the options. And sometimes that's 3D, quite often that's 3D. Actually 3D is a really, really good, like especially for these very complex scenes that we have. I've got scenes where like okay, what does three Stukas chasing a Chevy Master in downtown Chicago, and it's not downtown Chicago, like in some area in rural US, Louisiana look like? It's like, oh man, that's a lot of that's a lot of overlaps in the Venn diagram that I have to solve. And then like the 3D becomes very handy.
Both downtown Chicago and rural Louisiana would be very hard pressed to be safe in, unless you were die hard Cindy or longest.
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually need to answer a question here. I think it was God Hughes who asked the question. Just a second. Master Sanders is already answering some of the questions. Thanks for that, Master. Someone asked what the American Union State was. I would argue the American Union State, its closest our world equivalent would be Franco, and the American, the Spanish in the Spanish Civil War, with obviously an option to go like full National Socialist nightmare, or an option to become like a kind of soft social conservative democracy. But I think the Franco is probably the strongest like real life example you could have of the ideas behind that, like save the nation from the communists.
I can see that. I wonder if Spain was allowed to have local elections then, but
I know not during the Civil War. Definitely, it was just military rule. Because obviously, like Franco was basically the military, right? So you had the government, which were the militias, and then most of the military had joined with Franco. Franco and the rest of his phalange, and it was a total mess. If you want like an interesting perspective on that era, you should listen or read Salute to Catalunya, the book by George Orwell.
I just got that book.
It's really
one
good.
day I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's really good.
Direct rule from Madrid.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about George Orwell, and I'm also listening to all these things to get like some nice reference for the divided states as well. George Orwell has a very interesting life. Like most of us know him from Animal Farm, 1984. Like these are like his important, well-known novels that everyone probably has read at some point throughout high school. But then like this guy was like a policeman in Burma. He fought in the Spanish Civil War. Like he did some crazy shit in his life, and it's super interesting.
He died of tuberculosis. So.
Yeah. So basically, that book is about his time fighting in the Spanish Civil War, and then the book that precedes it, it's called The Burmese Days, is also really interesting because he basically it's an alliteration. It's about a fictional character, but it's really about his experiences in Burma as a police officer, and where he basically he worked as like an officer of the colonial force, and it's where he became an anti-imperialist, and that's how he got into the Spanish Civil War, fighting for the Republican front, because he was anti-fascist. I mean, yeah, he's just a really interesting character. I cannot warmly recommend his books enough. You
need to check it out at some point. I think I will have a better and broader understanding of this fictional civil war of ours.
Yeah, and also it gives you an interesting perspective on the man himself. So after reading these books, you kind of get where he got the idea for 1984 Animal Farm, like his anti left-wing radical stance.
Glory to Snowball.
It's super interesting.
Napoleon. Glory to Napoleon.
Napoleon, yeah.
Glory to Napoleon. Down with
Snowball's the one who got written out.
Snowball got the ice pick.
He got the ice pick. He was a traitor to the revolution. I'm sorry, Snowball.
Traitor to Animal Farm.
Traitor to Animal Farm.
I'm sorry, comrade, but you posted cringe.
4 legs bad, 2 legs better.
No, it was 2 legs bad, 4 legs good, and then it became
That's how it started.
like
Yeah, they changed.
4 legs good, 2 legs better.
Yes.
They it's one of those that was like I would say satire on how they alter like slogans to subtly alter the definition of an ideology.
Yeah.
But yeah, that entire book is really interesting.
The most impactful line I think in it was like at the end. It was something like, and the animals looked in the farmhouse where the pigs were dining with the other farmers, but they couldn't tell the difference between who was what, or something like that.
Yeah, it's basically the
new boss.
The pigs become human in the end. That's kind of
the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah.
In the words of the Who.
People on camera will see me like pointing my, because I gotta figure this thing out. Yeah. Okay.
So, what sort of wild bird will these people all destroy in the future?
What's the most common bird in the U.S. like?
Either pigeons or crows.
I know we got rid of the passenger pigeon.
I definitely think this poster is bad news for crows.
Oh no!
Birds, crows
not
are
the
reactionary.
goth icon. Crows are a goth icon. I can't believe the CSA wants to do away with that subculture.
You gotta.
It's gonna be pigeons. Pigeons are gonna die.
How on that note, how are your home iron smelting quotas, my comrades?
Oh,
have you made high quality steel for our American factories?
I burnt all my fingers off trying to make iron ore in my backyard.
I make best steel for America.
So what you're saying is that you didn't try hard enough. Off on the train to him.
Yep. I'm
Time
going
for
to
the
Alaska.
Gulag. Yeah, going to Alaska or Ohio. It's never been seen.
Or Ohio.
Yeah, basically.
I put my smelting partner into the furnace so the fires would burn brighter.
True
Best
socialism.
steel for America.
Actually, I don't think like something like the home smelting would happen in the US because like obviously the US had industrial development, but there will probably be some other shenaniganery.
Foster kids.
Freedom Gardens. Something that I think was in World War II. Those could make a comeback, and instead of it being like sustenance, like
Is Freedom Gardens?
Freedom Gardens or Freedom Guardians? I heard both. Not exactly sure.
The gardens where you plant stuff.
Gardens.
Comrade, you're cutting out a bit.
Yeah. Victory Garden. That's what they were called.
Oh yeah, Victory Gardens. Yeah, that could be a thing. By the way, Flebe says birds aren't real. We have an agent of the Bureau with us, so everyone watch your words.
Birds aren't real.
Comrades,
yeah, no.
We have we've analyzed your latest live stream performance, and we are afraid your media budget has been receded. Please come with us.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Vincent, why did you have to be so anti-revolutionary?
They I knew this would come back to bite me in the ass. Spent all my years.
Vincent did it.
Spent all my years making communist US posters. I never knew it would actually happen, as they like drag me kicking out of the house.
Communism subverts the true syndicalist revolution.
I was playing Kaiserreich, and I managed to incidentally create 1984 in that I was the CSA, and I took over like most of the Western Hemisphere, and then I had the Union of Britain as like my boys, pretty much.
That's a classic. The
Middle Africa exploded.
Well, what's interesting is that there's a lot of 1984. Like Australasia has a big 1984 reference, obviously. 1984 is one of the possible scenarios that can result out of a Kaiserreich game.
You love to see it.
It's like if you have, for example, CSA takes over North America and Canada as well. Australasia and the UAB sign an alliance. That's basically like the premise to 1984. This world where the totalists rule everything.
Mosley Gang.
The German government in exile is basically what's it called? Eurafrica, the other nation in 1984.
Middle Africa,
Europe, Pacifica, Oceania.
Is Oceania in control of Africa?
Good question.
Should look up.
I don't know.
There's a whole lot that's not truly known about the party.
Well, it's also like one of the things in 1984 is that the protagonist then thinks that there's actually not really not an actual war going on, that it's just all government lies. Like there's a war and territory is gained and won, but never is a decisive victory made. That's super fascinating. So it's all a sham.
Everything could be lies.
Well, at least the chocolate rations have gone up. That's what's important.
Oh,
I hear
so
chocolate
I have a
Russians.
I have a question. So the Discord game, we know that the first round of it is over. What were your thoughts on like how things got sort of into how some of it has devolved into a meta roleplay type thing in a few ways?
I wouldn't call that devolved. I would simply call that evolved. I kind of like the meta roleplay part of it. As for like the actual game mechanics, we're definitely still working on it. It was like our party line has been like it was over too soon. Like it was a 3-day blitz basically that won the game. I do feel the CSA won deservedly because they had like this massive amount of content made, but we're definitely like refiguring the balance. I was planning on restarting it fairly shortly, but then I was like, looking at the calendar, I was like, wait a minute, 4th of July. I promised like people I would get new posters on the webshop. I have no posters.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I need to start painting now. Paint. And then that was 4 weeks ago. So I was like, okay, let's we'll restart that once, like after July 4th. I'm gonna when these posters are done, I'm gonna go through all our ongoing projects, restart the game, restart Chomsky. Like a lot of that stuff is being. It's kind of the problem I have is that I can only do one thing at the same time. Like as long as my hand is on this Wacom tablets, I cannot do other things. But I actually think the roleplay part of it now is really interesting.
Yeah, honestly, there's like times where I don't know if what I'm going to say in one place will be taken as me, like, kind of playing a role, or me just being kind of serious and like, hey guys.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of like pure text role playing because of that reason. That's why I love D&D, because it gives you rules and a structure, so like what's the game and what's just saying random stuff or having a little fun with it. But I used to do that back in the old days. There was this game called Spellforce, a really cool FPS RTS hybrid, and then we played roleplay games on that forum.
Yeah. So not to be cringy or anything, but I need to admit to one of my cardinal sins here. Back when I was a teenager in high school, still, I was part of a roleplay community on Tumblr that was made specifically for roleplaying, like OCs people had made based off of Homestuck. So hyper cringe for y'all there.
Everything was good until you said the words Tumblr.
Yeah, I'm gonna, I try to be a tolerant guy, but Tumblr, really?
It's okay. I will take the shame with me forever.
It is all right. But even before I knew about its reputation, it seemed like a place for teenage girls to post their diaries.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
to be fair, that's the entire internet now, so.
I should have known.
So, I'm not really still part of the community, but I still follow a lot of the same blogs that I did then. And whenever a new one pops up, I'll follow it just so I can like see what people are doing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And like most posts that are not in character are like very clearly not, or like they'll have in the tags like OOC out of character.
Yeah,
or like
that's what we used to do as well. We just put brackets on our text.
yeah, brackets, parentheses, just to say hey, something something meta, blah blah blah.
But yeah, that's what we used to do back in the days on the forums as well. So basically, one guy would it was basically it was basically Dungeons and Dragons without any of the rule structure. Everyone would make a character, an OC, and then like one guy would just start telling the story, and everyone would reply as a post. It's pretty interesting. I think I'll probably still find that stuff. You know, as much as we consider that cringe, it's still like where a lot of our our basis of our interests and storytelling was, that it grows into something more in the future and it becomes a big part of you.
Yeah,
so we should never dismiss like that RPG stuff, because I think that's where like the writers of tomorrow are being made.
So I do a lot of personal writing, like small stories and stuff, and I have a lot of overarching plots like in my head that I'm working on and putting the paper slowly, and a lot of it has its roots back in that cringy 14-year-old who was on Tumblr.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like good for like development of those kinds of skills.
Yeah, I definitely think like wherever people come together and do storytelling, like there's value there. We also did a lot of like the original author action reports on the Hearts of Iron forums. I think we were like our goal was to be that was me and a friend, actually the same friend who's gonna come in and help us with the poses now. Our goal was to be win the most awards. On the forum you'd have like awards where the A was AAR. Like we just had a lot of time back in the day, man. We wrote all these R's because we wanted to win all the awards that were on the forums. We had a lot of fun with those. We wrote a couple of stories, and I think some of those things you're gonna see them again in the Divided States. Some of the more fun stuff we ended up. That's how I ended up with Kaiserreich as well. We ended up doing an interactive author action report where people would like play politics. Which is highly similar to what we're doing in the Discord right now, and like all this stuff, it keeps going in a circle, man. It's like it never truly goes away.
I'm actually like still friends with a lot of people I met in this roleplay community.
Yeah, I would definitely keep nurturing those people and those relationships.
Yeah, like I talk with a bunch of them like every day, and I also like very frequently commission artists from this community because I see that they have a skill that I don't, and I want them to continue to build that. So I give them like things to work on, and it's always so much fun.
One of my earliest artistic like inspirations was a Singaporean artist called Uki Tukamuki, and he was he's still working. He's probably an old guy right now, man. That was like 20 years ago. But he's really he did really cool art back on the Spellforce forums.
What little drawing that I do, it's just like small stuff. I'm just a dude with a mechanical pencil and a notebook, and it's pretty much just like me like throwing on whatever I can in like 10 minutes to the paper, and then just kind of thinking, do I like this? Yes, I like this.
Well, you should, if you're interested in like learning how to draw, I can definitely. By the way, someone has his mic open here, guys. Who is it?
I just joined. My bad. My fans. My land.
Can you switch to push to talk if your mic is sensitive?
I'm doing this on my phone right now. I bet it's the fan. Let me go turn it off and be right back.
All right, cool. Thanks, man. So yeah, the Procos channel is really good.
I've been drawing for like a long time. Like I can't count the number of notebooks I've filled up. I used to have a binder that was just like filled with 1,000 pages of paper back when I was in high school, and I would just go in and scribble like little things in there. A lot of the stuff from then is like really old and doesn't look too good now, but like some of the more recent stuff, like I've sort of come into my own style.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it just feels better. One of my biggest inspirations for art is Kanaoya Sachiko. Not like in terms of style, really, because like I don't want to compare like how my stuff looks to anyone else's, because I feel it'd be disrespectful to the other person almost. But like just how there are just some things that the way they look, the way it feels, you're just like, I aspire to be like that.
Mr. Knowledge, can you switch to push the talk, because I'm still getting a lot of feedback from your end.
Yeah, let me check. It might be give me a second.
And to your point, Vampire, I actually think like doing things in the style of another artist is never disrespectful. It's always like it's a homage to them, and I think a lot of what I do is a homage to, like, I'm literally painting a Chinese social realist poster, right? Because that's just, you know, a style I love, and I've always wanted to try out. And then along the way you pick up, you know, these new styles, these new inspirations, and then what emerges is your own voice, like, basically. Like right now I became the old history illustrator guy, and I'm cool with that, because that's like, not a lot of people are in this space, and then Kaisercat Cinema became this big focal point for everything that's alt history, and that's kind of what we wanted to do. We wanted to like bring alt history content into the mainstream, and I think this channel is a really, really good start for that.
I'm going to try to pronounce the name of the person who just joined the chat. This is going to be awful. Svensk Musikkultur?
Like
Svensk Musikkultur?
Svensk musikkultur.
Svensk. What's up, man? We actually have a couple of patrons from Sweden, 2 or 3, I think. I know Svensku and I had a bit of chat. I think it was on Facebook. It's quite a while ago now, back when you joined.
Yeah, we had on Facebook, I think.
Are you mostly a backer for our music? I know you're big on you collect Swedish musical projects on your own YouTube channel.
Yeah, I love music, but I really adore your art as well. So I'm here mostly for the artwork.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. Thanks, man.
I have one question, Svensk, and you probably have heard this before, so forgive me, but do you know of Sabaton?
Yes, I do.
How do you feel about them?
I like them. They're nice. They're pretty historically accurate, so yeah, they're decent.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think they're doing a real good job at highlighting our culture and our history. So by bringing that to a broader audience, I think they're doing a great job.
Does Sabaton do Swedish songs?
They did a whole album on the.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't really follow Sabaton, I should say. It's not something that's in my radar.
Well, they mainly do military historic themes, but they have made a great contribution to the Swedish culture by highlighting the I don't know how to say it in English, but the Stormaktiden, the great era of Sweden, the golden years of Sweden.
Yeah.
And Carolus Rex and the Lion from the North and all that.
That's actually really cool that they do these old Swedish songs. I spent quite a bit of time up in Sweden, as I used to do work for Paradox and some other companies in Sweden as well. Stockholm has a great creative industry.
Paradox is from Sweden?
Yep. You didn't know that?
Okay.
Really?
I did not know that.
Oh, okay. Their head office is in Sweden. The company was founded in Sweden, although now they have like offices all over the world. The biggest part of Paradox is still in Sweden, definitely. I recently got. Sorry, continue.
No, you can continue.
Yeah, I was just saying, they recently opened an office in Spain as well. I got an email. You should subscribe to their newsletter. It's pretty interesting if you want to see like what's moving and shaking in the company. Paradox Tinto in Barcelona. I think that's their 5th studio or something. So they have studios a bit all over. GS asks what program I usually use for artwork. So this is Adobe Photoshop. Actually, you can see all of the softwares oh, actually my camera went dead, I just noticed. Guys, I'm gonna grab another battery, give me a second.
R.I.P. to Vincent's camera.
Alright. Vincent is there on the camera, but he's gone in audio.
Amazing.
The timelines are diverging.
Great.
He remains in spirit.
How sweet the sound.
We will resist and bite hard, for we are all inside. Oh heck, I need to tell Vincent about Resist and Bite.
It's a good song. Love that one.
Best. Yes.
I really appreciate Uprising as well.
They are very beloved in Poland.
Yeah, you're from Poland?
No, I'm from America.
Oh.
And I do appreciate 82nd All the Way, To Hell and Back, and a few other ones.
And they have many great songs.
Well, Vincent, are you there?
I'm here, yeah. I'm just refocusing the camera.
We were just talking about one of Sabaton's songs, which it mentions your country. It's called Resist and Bite. It is about the 40 men of the Chasseurs Ardennes.
Okay, it mentions my country, but not as like the backdrop for important stuff happening. Like it actually mentions Belgium as that's interesting. I like that. You don't
It's
get a lot
about
of
heroes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
about the heroes specifically.
Yeah, the Chasseurs.
And I thought it's very, very inspiring to me. In fact, I jogged to it only a few hours ago.
Interesting. We actually have a couple nice Belgian military marches. If I ever do a second channel, it will be on that. I think it's an underappreciated. Obviously, the military history of Belgium isn't that exciting.
How's it feel to live in a 12,000 square mile speed bump?
Yeah.
Oof.
Actually, I was at the coast with my girlfriend 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about World War II and like literally walking among the German bunkers because like we have so many bunkers in the friggin' dunes. Like, they just block these things all over the place. Like it just makes no sense.
Well,
Atlantic Wall, baby.
Yeah.
At least the Flemish have some very good medieval history and a very nasty weapon.
The Hoedendag.
That's how you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's actually in Dutch. It means hello.
Yes. What a way to say hello.
It's one of those inside jokes. But yeah, the flailed spike is called a hello in Dutch, basically.
Oh, just like how the word hijack became a thing.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting.
I was always told to call it Godendag.
But yeah, that would be like a really old Flemish thing. But it's same principle there. Or the pronunciation of the language has changed quite a lot from medieval, as most languages have. If you go like listen to Old British, it's like whoa, what the hell is going on?
Yes, that scares me sometimes.
Yeah,
it's actually quite intelligible for Scandinavian. I understand a bit of Old English when it's spoken.
Yeah, you'll love this, Svensk. There's a channel that I follow. They do like old Irish music, and you can definitely hear like the Scandinavian in there.
Oh, nice.
And
Yes.
What is it called?
I'm just gonna Google the song. It's gonna be faster.
You can hear all the Scandinavian that Turgis the Devil introduced into Ireland.
It's because English is the bastard child of Vikings and Germans.
And Norman French,
Phil-
who are themselves bastard childs of Vikings.
Yeah.
No regrets.
I'm not gonna play it on. Actually, I cannot even play it on this channel. It's gonna copyright strike this thing. I'll post it in the crew launch.
It's a huge L.
Yes. When I watched the Viking show, I was actually able to understand. when I was watching the Viking show, I was actually able to understand the Old Norse more than the Old English.
Oh.
Yeah, if you learn Swedish, you sort of it's interesting. Swedish sounds like what German and English together would sound like, and those two languages are a great base to learn Swedish from.
That's what I thought Dutch sounded like.
Yeah, all these languages are like brother and sister languages. They share a lot of similarities. Obviously, the most it's very pronounced in German, because German and Dutch are so close to each other. But there's a lot of words in Swedish as well that we share. Like it's what you learn to appreciate in Europe is everything is connected to each other, like history, culture, religion. All these countries were so close to each other. It's super interesting. By the way, for our live stream viewers, I just noticed my door is open. You guys can actually see the pink room over there, which is our central photo studio and the place where I keep my camera batteries.
The actual Kaiser Cat studio.
The actual Kaiser Cat studio.
So many posters.
We have quite a few in the house. My girlfriend has been like, she hates the fact that there's propaganda posters everywhere. She's been claiming more and more territory to put like, she's into plants, you know, she's into plants. She's not into like German propaganda posters in the hallway. When people come in, it's like, hey, have you seen my Deutschland poster? And then people are like, whoa, no.
I assume old times there have not been forgotten.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the disadvantages of that German poster, that most people do not see the difference between like a Kaiser Reich poster and like an actual Nazi German poster. Like they see German and a poster and they're like, oh no, it's the Nazis. Yeah.
I would think your country would be especially sore about that.
You'd be surprised actually. Like a lot of that war stuff in Belgium, it's more like, you know, it's done and over with. You gotta move on. It's like strangely in other regions where like the war has less actually touched it, I feel like people still talk about the war more, which is interesting. But you know, it's not the first time that the Germans have showed up here. I want to say it wasn't the last, but hopefully it was the last. It's getting old.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it...
Will the next one count if Angela Merkel gets held up in a Belgian bathroom? Will that count as a Belgian occupation?
Yeah.
Well, with how the EU is run from what little I know as an American, this is me making jokes. Germany did kind of get what they wanted in the end.
Well, that's the whole irony of it, is that if Germany would have just done nothing, they would still, like, the Kaiserreich with its increased territory would simply take over Europe just purely economically. So yeah, I mean, that's still, like, Germany is always going to be a leading country in Europe, and the power balance will always be between the UK, Europe, and Germany. Like that's just, you know, how it's always going to be.
You can always have more power and money by being a nice person.
Yeah.
Quote unquote nice.
Quote unquote nice. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Hi guys. By the way, the biggest problem to Germany
is that you? Is that you on there?
Yeah, that's me.
Well,
hey.
Hello, unicorn.
Hello everyone. The biggest issue with Germany's whole thing is that they were threatened by both France and Russia on either side. But now Germany and France are actually working together against Russia. Well, there's little stopping them.
Well, they'll say,
which round are we speaking of?
Our powers combined, we are the EU.
Power Rangers.
It's our secret move. Fun fact: the Dutch, the Belgians, and the Luxembourgians. I'm not actually sure. Luxembourgers. We got together and founded the first organization that was a part of the EU, and the US was also a major influence, because they were like, yeah, we need Europe to be together because we can't have these guys fighting each other again. So we don't want to come in and clean up every 30 years.
Luxembourgers.
It's actually we
that is 100% a brand. Like there's a burger stand in Luxembourg called Luxembourgers.
Obviously,
Uyghurs.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Put a piece of Limburger on your Luxemburger.
By the way, guys, I am going to stop the live stream in 15 minutes for the public. We usually run these live streams for about an hour, 30 minutes. For our patrons, I'll be on the Discord for a little while longer, as per the usual, of course. If you guys have any more questions about this poster, feel free to ask me now. It will be on the web shop somewhere in the next 2 days, whenever I finish it. It's like every time I look at this poster, it's like more work to be done. It's a nightmare. You know, like this face is like, what is this face, and this cat needs work, and oh my god, it will be finished. Trust me, comrades, it will be finished.
I can't wait to buy this poster.
So yeah, if you guys
Same.
have,
Yeah, it does look good.
I think it's our best looking poster yet. It's obviously like it's a bit of a no-brainer because it's also the most detailed. Like it has all these characters.
Yeah.
It's gonna go up on my wall right next to Smiling Jack Malone.
The old,
It doesn't quite fit with my room's sort of monarchist theme, but I do really like it, to be honest. I'd probably get it if it fit with the theme.
I love the
Mine's
lighting.
just like a mishmash of different things, honestly.
Well, I have the posters for all major factions on the wall here, so it's like bet on all of them. You cannot lose.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got 2 flags and a poster. I've also got 2 other posters, but they aren't KCC related.
Well, we will be doing so make sure to wait for the sale, because we'll be doing a sale July 4th. I haven't decided the exact date yet, but it's probably going to be like 4 or 5 days. I'm not sure what we did last year. I keep forgetting that. I should write that down.
Well,
Probably.
When was the launch sale, or rather, when was the launch? It was February-ish.
Yeah, February,
Yeah.
March. Seems like ancient history.
Yeah, it does.
Like, Guys Get Cinema is actually
Seems
only...
like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. It's you think like Guys Get Cinema is actually only a year old. This project, though we've been considering something like Guys Get Cinema long before we actually did it.
Yeah.
As early as PDXCon 20, the first one basically that we went to, 2017. We started talking about, hey, it would be cool to have like a YouTube channel and posters. That's where originally those first posters were painted for. I painted them for PDXCon 2017, and we handed them out. Paradox actually printed a whole bunch of them for free, and they were like, hey, you guys can hand this out at your booth. It was really cool of them. But then like everyone was asking, hey, can we buy this? You know, people who couldn't make it, and that's where the idea came from. It's like, hey, we should have a web shop. And then from there the idea was, okay, but if we have a web shop, like what if we do something cool, like make content with the profits of the web shop and then send some to the mod, and that's basically the basic idea of Guys Get Cinema.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it for the longest time, just because of time. But we ended up going forward, and actually I'm really happy with the way the channel has been growing and doing.
Well, at this point, I cannot associate, I cannot think Kaiserreich without also thinking Kaiser Cat Cinema. They're totally entwined for me now.
Yeah,
and you know, alt history in general is the same. I mean, are there any plans to branch out into other alt history, or is it just Kaiserreich for the foreseeable future?
I would say for the foreseeable future, we want to stay with Kaiserreich. The Divided States is like, or we want to do this big project.
Like your flagship.
Yeah, we want to do that as a flagship project, and like. I want to prove to the world that like Kaiserreich can be a show, the way we've always like, and not just, you know, like we used to talk about it, like, hey, it would be cool to have a Kaiserreich show. No, we're actually doing it. Like, we're gonna put this thing on YouTube. Yeah. Maybe in like the far future, if we do the Divided States and it does well, and then like, you know, all the World of Kaiserreich videos are done, because I mean, there's a finite amount of countries there. Like, there's gonna be a point in the future where it's like, hey, like we're done, like we finished, we did all the Kaiserreich things.
What will be the last World of Kaiserreich?
Man, I have no idea. It's like we'll see when we get there. What I do know is that I'm probably gonna start bundling up smaller countries, countries that are not that altered. Like for example, I'll do some of the smaller Balkan nations. I think Bulgaria will have its own video. We're doing
because the whole thing there is the Balkan Pact versus Bulgaria, isn't it?
Yeah, so we'll probably do it. Like we'll do that kind of theme. I have nothing in mind right now.
Yeah.
That's far off in the future.
Well, Romania recently got a bunch of new law, didn't they?
Yeah, the thing is, like, because of the different timelines and how long it takes to produce a video, we never get to sync that up, and I don't think we ever will, with one big exception. That's what I've always said to devs. Like, when you guys go to like version 1, like the finished Kaiserreich version, like, call me 6 months in advance, and we'll do like the definitive Kaiserreich trailer, like Kaiserreich the mod trailer. And I know what I want as the title, and the title would be, play the mod that started the legacy. I think that's gonna be just
Brilliant.
perfect. Yeah, and,
Brilliant.
I have a script for that somewhere, but it basically ends with, all different accents and voices, like all these World of Kaiserreich actors coming back, overlaid on Hearts of Iron footage, and they're sort of saying things about different countries, and then they say things like. In their accents, we need to uphold or we need to destroy, and then the camera pans to Germany with the sun rising over it in Hearts of Iron, and then all these voices together say the Kaiserreich, and then it goes into the logo.
I love that.
We've also, it's one of those crazy plans we've also had, is to have an official Kaiserreich theme song, but that's one of those really expensive things because we need to hire a full brass orchestra. And it's going to be
an orchestral, full-on.
Yeah, straight up.
An original piece.
Yeah, of course. It's all we do, right? Original piece.
Yeah, I know. I was just.
Will the conductor have a pickle hob?
I don't think so. I mean, it's funny to us, but in the wider, if you talk to brass orchestra, these are serious guys. These are professional musicians. I'm if I ask him, hey, can you wear a pickle hobble for the memes? That guy's probably gonna be like, what? No, no. You know what? I'll wear a pickle hobble making the video of that. I can get away with it. I don't have to be a serious guy.
Thank you, Vincent.
I'll make sure there's some pickle hobble on there. But that's one of those projects we want to do, and they're just really expensive. And
how much would they cost?
Man, it starts at 4,000 euros to have a full brass orchestra and a song composed. So to put that in perspective, the entire operational budget of Kaiserreich Cinema last year was $25,000. So we made $25,000 worth of content basically. And
so it'd be what is that?
Yeah,
I'm not very good at maths.
It'd be
a significant portion.
Yeah, a significant portion of our slightly under a fourth of our yearly budget.
That's it.
Now, the fact that Patreon has grown so much is actually really encouraging, especially in this COVID time. And I want to see what the webshop is going to do as well. My whole idea is that I want to get the Patreon contributions up to 1,250, so we can start demonetizing all the World of Kaiserreich videos and fully rely on Patreon contributions to help us cover all these costs, the recurring costs of each video, and then get a second illustrator and have the guy and be okay, now all you do is World of Kaiserreich videos.
Isn't there already a second illustrator? So the guy made the Qing and all the China ones. Yes, and the Scandinavian.
Nicholas, that's true. I'm actually making a Meet the Kaisercats video of all of us soon. But the thing is, he accepted a new job, so he's not doing work for us right now. He said he might do some. I actually might ask him to do one of the United States posters, the Federalist one. But he's not available right now, and it's going to be a while until he's available again.
Ah, right. So is he a freelancer?
Yeah, he's a freelancer for us.
Ah, right.
Basically everyone working for the cinema is a freelancer, and they get paid they get paid per project.
Right.
The only one not getting paid is me right now, which is I can still manage. I still have a bit of savings, but I won't be able to manage more than 6 more months. That's what I said. In 6 months, I'm gonna evaluate what we need to do in order to keep the cinema afloat.
So you're on about getting a second, fully dedicated, in-house artist.
I would love that, yeah. But not in-house. Yeah. Everyone's gonna because we work from home. It doesnuld make sense to hire people. I would just have.
I don't know why I said in-house.
Yeah, there's no look around me. This is my bedroom. Where should I put someone?
Well, you never know. One day you might have a corporate headquarters somewhere. You never know.
You never know. Like, I'm not like super excited about like getting an office, but maybe if we find the right people and we have like a big idea, maybe like we all work on the animatics full time. We never know. It's not
You're
a
gonna
big...
have branches across the world. You're gonna be the new Starbucks. There's gonna be a Kaiser Cat cinema in every town on the planet.
I'll take it
Next to McDonald's.
Along.
I, for one, accept our new feline overlords.
As
I'm an
a,
open collaborator.
if we ever get an office, it should definitely be. We should definitely have like an office cat. Like that's just like the theme. The theming of that would be brilliant. I need to fix this jawline. By the way, for all our live stream listeners, I will be cutting off the live stream in about 5 minutes. So if you guys have final questions, feel free to ask them now. For our patrons, I'll be on the chat for a little longer. So Hirohito asks if Japan can attack India in the Kaiserreich Mod focus. Obviously, that's more of a question for the Kaiserreich Mod developers. We are the content creators. But I am not sure because the lore, like India is getting a massive rework, so I assume the parts of the Japanese focus tree that touch India are also gonna be worked on. So I'm not able to answer that question. Has any date been given on the India rework, like the when it's out?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Although they've started announcing the release dates of future updates now, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've started mucking about with that and seeing how they like it. Although, it means like a week in advance, so it's not a great deal.
Yeah, it's just so people know. What was that other question? I saw someone post something.
I'm gonna go now. It's been fun.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Don't forget to watch the patron messages. I might do a patron exclusive thing in the coming week, but it's still gonna be a slow week. Obviously, I'm still painting these posters, and that's gonna be all the way up to July 4th, and then we get back into like the divided states and the scene calls. I've got a really cool scene call for you guys, which is basically a submarine crew, like a captain and 3 or 4 radio operators who are like they're in this sequence where like the captain walks up to like I'm not exactly sure I want to do it. Like he walks up to an Enigma machine, he gets a print, and he's like, "Oh, we found the guys." So if you wanna be a bad guy, actually most of you want to be bad guys.
I do. I know I do.
Yeah.
I'm waiting so I can stand with MacArthur.
Oh yeah, we have a scene with MacArthur with the American flag waving, very dramatic. I have to get back in.
Anymore.
It's probably gonna be my my #1 priority the moment we get out of this poster painting period. Won't be doing anything for the web shop after July 4th, like fully focusing on the divided states again.
If it helps, I actually have a German officer hat. So
nice.
We actually might get one of those as well. As part of
it's
our,
not, and obviously it's not a Kriegsmarine hat, but it's pretty close.
Okay.
So maybe I could don that and do a cameo for.
Well, you guys know it's. I'll be posting it on Patreon. Actually, we still have a few open roles for example, Breadline is still waiting for patron cameos. I think I had four slots, but only 2 people responded. So basically, anyone who responds there gets it.
I mean, who wants to wait in a bread line?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Right? Everyone wants to be like a cool soldier or the. But then like you get the problem that the longer lifetime contributing patrons are also there for that role, so they sort of snag it up. I actually think I'm gonna put myself in the bread line. I was thinking of doing like giving myself like this really weird random cameo, and I was thinking maybe a guy who's like on the street with like, "It's all fake," or "The end is nigh," or something that implies that I'm actually the guy doing all the storytelling. I thought that would be hilarious.
Way to do things.
Yeah. Alright, to our livestream cats, I am about to cut off the livestream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As for content in the coming week, we have I have just simple stuff that I haven't released yet. It's the audio only version of Wayfaring Stranger by Rachel, which we have not released yet. We also have the Shanking Team, which we also have not released yet. Then I have an American Union State song, which we never released, and it might come in 2 weeks. The problem is I don't think it's very good. Just to manage your that's the reason I have not released it yet. Like, I've listened to it several times. Like, the thing is, and it's my fault basically, because what I did is I rewrote the lyrics to Battle Hymn of the Republic, and I sort of did it in a very offhand way, and I I replaced, basically did find replace on Battle Hymn of the Republic, and like the end is pretty cringe, and I'm not sure if we're just ever gonna release it. I might release it to the patrons first, like a hidden link. Yeah. You guys tell me. Like, I don't think it should be on the channel. I don't think it fits our quality standard.
Well, maybe
I would love to take a look at the lyrics.
Yeah, probe it with the patrons, and if it's well received.
Yeah, let's do. I'm actually gonna make a note of that. Let's make it.
That's what I'd say anyway. It's up to you, really.
I
mean, if we're talking, if it's really, really bad, like.
But it's not really bad. It's just, you know, it's not memorable in any way. It's just, you know, another song. And I feel if we go for more songs, it should be like, whoa, I really want to listen to this on Spotify now, and like have it build our album and our Divided States original soundtrack. I'm making a note here in my calendar to release Battle Hymn to the patrons, and I'll get you guys that version. And then you guys let me know. So that's up to the patrons. For the rest of you, thank you all for joining us today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join our Discord. We got a bunch of guys. I think some of you guys are in that as well, organizing a Hearts of Iron game, right?
I should probably know about that, but I don't. So
yeah, there's a Road to 56 game being organized by someone, I forget who. Yeah, it's General Douglas. The problem is we have 3 users with like the General MacArthur nickname, so it's quite confusing. One of them, who is the game master, and then Lobster is helping him out. So you should probably go in there and like check it out and help them organize if they need more hands. Then join our Discord if you would like to take part of that game. These posters, this poster will be out on the web shop in 2 days probably when it's done. But I would wait for the July 4th sale. We are going to do 20% off all our webshop products like we did last year, probably starting on July 4th Friday and all the way through Wednesday. Sort of, I still have to figure out the specifics. I think that is about it, so I'm going to cut the live stream there. I hope you guys enjoyed your stay with us, and I will see you guys again for a future live stream. See you for the next one, cats. Then I'm going to wait until I give them the salute and then end the stream there. This is always a weird part. There's like a minute where I need watching myself until I do like that. See you for the next one, cats. And then I end it.